Coming up, Kate Sobrano, Miranda Darling and Roy Billing. That's all ahead on the Daily Edition.
Yes, Kate Sobrano will be with us, which will be a heap of fun. We'll have that. Lovely to have you guys with us. We'll get the news headlines. Thanks, Mel.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Homicide detectives investigating the stabbing death of a Melbourne schoolgirl have had a major breakthrough. A man aged in his 20s has handed himself into police and is being questioned over Masa Vukatic's murder. It follows the release of pictures of a man boarding a bus at Doncaster shortly after the 17-year-old's death. Masa's family has been told of the breakthrough.
Let's just say that we changed our focus this morning and that focus has led to this man surrendering.
Police say the suspect is known to them. He has no connection to the victim. An Australian man with dual Colombian citizenship is among 17 tourists killed when gunmen stormed a museum in the North African country of Tunisia. The terrorist attack was on the famed Bardo Museum in the capital Tunis, with security forces shooting dead 2 gunmen.
Running for their lives, tourists, many clutching children, flee as their day out ends in gunfire. Police swarmed the museum on the same grounds as the Tunisian parliament, where Westerners stepping off a bus were ambushed by gunmen in military uniforms. More tourists were taken hostage and killed. The nation's Prime Minister confirmed an Australian is among the dead. South Africans, Spaniards, Italians and Japanese were also murdered before the massacre ended in a shootout. 2 of the gunmen died, 3 more got away. Tunisian soldiers celebrated as they left the scene.
There haven't been any claims of responsibility at this point. Obviously, while we mourn those who were lost, I don't think we're at the point of drawing conclusions about what it means.
But a hit to the country's main industry, tourism, appears the apparent goal.
It may also have been triggered by the fact that a senior IS figure who was of Tunisian origin had been killed in Libya just a few days ago.
Thousands of Tunisians have already left to fight with Islamic State, and destabilising the economy will leave more vulnerable to IS recruiters. Australians have now been advised not to travel to the region, a tourism hotspot now just too dangerous. Emma Dallymore, 7 News.
Tropical Cyclone Nathan is on track to hit far north Queensland as a Category 4 system early tomorrow morning. Live to 7 meteorologist Jane Barn. Jane, good afternoon. Just bring us up to date then the latest on Nathan's movements.
Absolutely, Mel. Good afternoon. Cyclone Nathan is intensifying to a Category 4 storm and it currently lies about 200 kilometres off the coast. Now, he is on track to make landfall in around 13 hours from now, north of Port Douglas. So far, there are only isolated bands of rain between Cooktown and Townsville, and the highest gusts are around 70 k's. Nathan has been with us for quite some time, but now it's moving and covered 100 kilometres in just the past few hours. Nathan is likely to cross between Cooktown and Cape Melville, but the latest guidance shows it's passing right over Lizard Island and hitting very near Cape Flattery. There will be very destructive gusts of 260 k's an hour. A dangerous storm tide also brings heavy rain and flash flooding. This all starts tonight, but it's heaviest early on Friday as it crosses. So definitely make your preparations during the daylight hours today. This is coming overnight and it's intensifying. A Category 5 storm cannot be ruled out just yet. The storm quickly moves inland and it weakens before heading out over the Gulf, but there could be 250 to 350 millimetres of rain anywhere north of Port Douglas, possibly even more, and that's after falls over 500 millimetres just last week. I'll have the nation's forecast and a look at today's heat soon. Mel?
All right, thanks so much, Jane. We'll see you a little bit later on. Now, we've just got some breaking news in that the very latest appeal for the Bali Nine pair, Andrew Chan and Mayuran Sukumaran, has been adjourned until March 25th. That was after it was delayed last week because paperwork wasn't prepared properly. So that appeal now has been delayed until March 25th while they wait for more evidence to come in. Now, the parents of a newborn baby who died from whooping cough are pleading for anyone who is in contact with children to be immunised. 4-week-old Ryan Riley died in his parents' arms in a Perth hospital on Tuesday. He'd been battling the disease for several days and was too young to be immunised. The AMA says WA needs to overhaul its immunisation procedures to include pregnant women.
Biggest issue that's highlighted here is there are diseases which are preventable and should have been eradicated in our community still present.
Riley's parents say their son's death will not be in vain. And Mother Nature has put on a spectacular show across the Northern Hemisphere overnight. Have a look at this, guys. It's a stunning Aurora borealis. Now, it's caused by a severe solar storm above the Earth yesterday. Onlookers from Canada and Finland, even in England, were greeted with vibrant shades of purple and green that illuminated the skies. You might remember this follows a spectacular Aurora australis, also known as the Southern Lights, that was across parts of Australia and New Zealand on Tuesday night. So it's been a very busy week if you love looking at the sky and stargazing. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It almost doesn't look real, it's so vivid.
Matches your dress today, Sal, doesn't
I
it?
planned it accordingly. Well, the weather planned it accordingly.
Aurora borealis
Thank
green.
you. That's right. Thank you, Mel. See you a little bit later on. Still to come for you, the psychology of food, what really affects our eating habits and can we change them?
Next, though, on tour with Kate Sobrano. The Aussie performers live on her all-new Star act.